Now, guys, let's talk about Barack Obama. Barack Obama is absolutely going to be the next president. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I think that we'll get into whether that's fortunate or not later. But, of course, today it's all about this plot to kill him. The first question is the most obvious one. Is America actually ready for a black president, PRUE?
Well, it should be, but I think it won't be. You know, I think the Tom Bradley effect, and if you don't know that one, of course, that was in 1982 when he was a mayor, black mayor. Everybody who was entering the polls said, yes, I'll vote for him. And, of course, when they got into the privacy of the voting room, they didn't. Yeah. And I think that, you know, they're concerned about being, you know, accused of being racially prejudiced, so they don't do it. You know, this guy's got a couple of handicaps. He's black, and he's got a Muslim name, and I think those two things, I don't think it's as clear-cut as that he's going to win this thing.
Well, I just think, I mean, it is that thing, though. It's quite obvious, you know, every opinion poll says between, you know, here and Christmas that he's going to absolutely belt it in. But we'll get onto that in a sec, but I'm fascinated by this question. There are a bunch of nutters in Tennessee who had an idea that not only they were going to kill Barack Obama, but they were going to take out 102 other black people. I mean, the threat that we talk about is often, you know, fundamentalists in the Middle East. The reality is, it's in the homeland.
That only helps him, though, doesn't it? To have these sort of nutbags going after him, it kind of makes him look. Does it appear more normal, more presidential? In the fact that, I mean, the one thing about him being a black candidate, it's the only thing, isn't it, Paul, that is keeping this race alive? Hey. Because of all the things, the fact the Bush administration, the fact the worst economic crisis since the Depression, you know, a nutbag of a vice president in Sarah Palin, John McCain, who PRUE, they reckon, insurance companies will give you 65% odds that he'll survive for the next 8 years. There's a 35% chance he will die. Yet it's still a race. Wow. If it wasn't Obama, if it was Hillary Clinton, the thing would probably be all over. It'd be done. It'd be finished. But because of the Bradley effect, we are still talking about the potential of McCain actually winning this thing. Kate, you and I have talked about this thing, you know, day in, day out for a couple of years. I mean, you know, your bloke's almost going to win. Race. I mean, does it actually? I mean, is that actually going to be the thing that knocks him out?
Possibly, yes. We're talking about Middle America, that is the Bible Belt, very, very conservative, very right-wing, very intolerant, and most importantly, very ignorant. And they don't know what it's like to have a black president. It scares them because it's the unknown. Yeah. Are they ready for it in America, a black president? Absolutely not. I really don't think it, but I think they need to be have it forced upon them. Because otherwise this fear of the unknown is going to hold them back from all different sorts of things. Can
I give you an example of how racist America still is?
Oh, look, you're not going to surprise me.
In the National Football League, America's #1 sporting code, 70% of the players are black. 6% of the coaches a few years ago, only 6% were black. And they had to bring in a rule called the Rooney Rule, where any time a head coach vacancy came up, you had to interview one minority. They had to bring in a rule, so you had to interview one. You know when that rule was brought in? 2003. Wow. Just 5 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting because Americans still, you know, if a black guy crosses the street towards you, you sort of think, God, is he going to, you know, hug me or is he going to roll me, you know? And I think that there's still, that's very implicit. You look at the angry black American and, you know, there's stereotypes. There was Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King. They were all really angry.
Mr. T.
Yeah, Mr. T, of course. And, you know, Barack is trying to portray himself as a non-confrontational kind of guy. Yeah. But, you know, you've got the neo-Nazis after him. We've got Al-Qaeda coming out saying they support McCain. And I hear the Taliban's after Palin because she's vindicating their whole thoughts about women.
Yes, of course.
So, you know, I think, you know, Barack's going to get in.
And let's not forget, there's still remnants of the Ku Klux Klan over in America. Yeah. A very, very active cell of Ku Klux Klan, and that's through that Bible Belt.
I mean, all things American election, of course, keep...